Even I never thought that this video would happen, folks. It turns out that Disney is so in despair when it comes to its franchises like Star Wars, Marvel, and yes, Pirates of the Caribbean, that they have reached out to the man that they despised, perhaps with a budget that would blow out all of our eyes. We're here to tell you Johnny Depp was back as Jack Sparrow at Disneyland, and that could not happen without the help of the higher-ups. Hello folks, welcome back to the Pro Channel, where we endeavor to explain entertainment, keep you ahead of the culture curve. What a joy it is to have you here with us today as we begin our journey of returning Johnny Depp to the role he was made to play. That's right, Disneyland Resort, Jack Sparrow reappearing, but this time not some sort of crazy cast member. No, it's Johnny Depp himself. We'll tell you why this matters so much right now. All right, Jonas, we're going to need your help because you had suggested earlier that you've got some more info on this since this article was published. But this comes out today by John F. Trent. Johnny Depp appears to make surprise return as Jack Sparrow in Disneyland. And I would suggest that this feeds right into, by the way, what we've been talking about, which is that, one, we believe Disney might be attempting a soft reset in the background because they can no longer do what they've been doing. But I also think, we had heard that they were going to try to move Pirates of the Caribbean into an exclusively female franchise going forward, i.e. 2016 Ghostbusters. Now I have pause with this. Let's find out what this is talking about. And yes, we have video for you. This one I can play because it's not profane. Actor Johnny Depp appeared to make a surprise return as Jack Sparrow in Disneyland over the weekend. As captured by theme park blogger Barry Place 28, who is, by the way, a guest on T3PO Live, which we'll be redirecting to at the end of the show, a man who appeared to be Depp greeted a number of people inside Disneyland while dressed up as Jack Sparrow. Sparrow can be seen talking to a number of children dressed up in Star Wars outfits. After being instructed on how to perform a Jedi mind trick, Depp appears to notice Barry Place 28 and turns around and then begins attempting to perform the Jedi mind trick on a number of guests he walks by. One of the reasons, folks, that we strongly believe that this is Johnny Depp and not the greatest impersonator in the world is because were this the actual cast members who play this role, they would likely not ever acknowledge the existence of the Star Wars characters because that's not allowed in the Disney parks because Jack Sparrow exists in his own franchise, and so he doesn't understand. Johnny Depp, however, is free to improvise in any way that he so sees fit. After Depp walked away, he then returned to speak with the children dressed up as Princess Leia and a Jedi. After finishing his conversation with them, he then chose to go in the opposite direction. As Depp continued walking through the park, he stopped and took pictures with another child and greeted other guests. Eventually, Barry Place 28 and his guest asked Depp for a picture. After getting the picture, the two parties go their separate ways. We're going to play this in its entirety. Folks, you decide if this is Johnny Depp or not. I just, listen, it's got to be Johnny Depp. And then we're going to talk about why this is so significant beyond just a park appearance. Jonas, are we still okay? Is everything, everything I've said is accurate so far?
Yeah, everything that you have said is yes.
All right, folks.
And wait, had it been a cast member, she would have been much taller.
Oh, the evil queen reference. Oh, well played, Lou. Oh, the 7'5" evil. No, we move on. We move on. Here we go, folks.
Which one do you like? Here we go. Yeah. I like that. Listen, mate. I've heard about you. How do you do that mind thingy where you change?
Oh, there's hint number one.
Oh, that's him. That's Depp.
All right, I'm gonna try it.
I'll eventually tell you why I think so.
All right, so there is
Disney found their new Captain Jack Sparrow, but that has to be him.
It absolutely has to be.
It absolutely has to be.
Lorena, why do you think so as we continue on in the article? Why do you think so?
Okay, full disclosure. At the Magic Kingdom way back in the day when they had the Pirates and Princesses party, right? They had, Captain Jack Sparrow out there. And you can tell, they were playing at being Captain Jack Sparrow. And the same, today that goes on, the Jack Sparrows that they have out near Pirates of the Caribbean. You can tell he's playing at being Captain Jack Sparrow. It's very obvious. You can tell, it's a cast member doing his best. You've got the B stringers who kind of phone it in. You have, the A stringers who are just like, they're very, very close, but they're not him. The mannerisms on this person is so dead on with the improv and all of that. It's like, it is Captain Jack Sparrow. I would be upset if I knew that it wasn't him, because it's very organic. And it's kind of hard to explain that with some cast members who are face characters, it's like it's there, but it's not there. But you can kind of tell they're not quite dead on with who the character is.
Well, he's also breaking the rules, and that would not be, of course, permitted by Disney for anyone else breaking the rules. Jonas, I need you to explain, and then we're going to go into what this means on a much bigger scale. So, folks, don't go anywhere. We're going to explain why this is a big deal in the culture war. Jonas, can you explain why this is perhaps more significant? What are the rules and regulations that mean this might be a big deal?
Well, okay. Do you want why it's a big deal, or why we're fairly certain it's Johnny Depp? Because there's
listen. I think everybody out there. In fact, I'm looking at the polling right now. 58% right now of our audience says that's Johnny Depp. Darn it, that's Johnny Depp.
Well, so let's push that over the top here for a moment. Let's talk about, first of all, the fact that when he sees the camera, that's when he starts to move away. And when have you ever known a Disney cast member who is doing an amazing impression to stop and say, you know what, I'm not going to take this moment to be filmed. I'm not going to try to create a magic moment here for the cast. Also, he's clearly referencing Star Wars as he's talking with this person. See, he notices, and where does he start to go? He starts to go away. The full live stream is available on Barry Place 28. There's a video with the guy who shot this video right there, that Johnny Depp thumbnail right there in the center. That excellent thumbnail done by Cinepark Rangers.
John, you know what? Jonas, something else. He doesn't have a handler.
He does. It's just they're off to the left hand side.
Oh,
here.
okay. Okay.
That actually matters. So
it's usually the handler that says that Jack has to go away or something like that. So if you're going to say no to a guest, they have the handler say no to the guest.
Exactly. And that's why I'm just like, well, where's the handler at? Because they usually field those. But.
Yeah, Johnny Depp has a lightning bolt tattoo on his left hand. There are certain tattoos that are still part of the Jack Sparrow regalia, but there's some still shots that we've seen here where his left hand has heavy makeup on it. There's two tattoos in particular that are hidden here. He makes several attempts to get away, and none of them are to go backstage if you watch the live stream as well here. So to address the other aspect of this, in order for Johnny Depp to appear in the parks in character and have a handler and all of these things, the previous statements that were made about Johnny Depp and the role of Captain Jack Sparrow, there was a statement by Jerry Bruckheimer, who you have to get Bruckheimer's clearance before you make a Pirates movie because they're under his production company. He had said that we aren't going to sit around waiting for certain actors to be available. That was the basic gist of what he said as they were talking about bringing in a reboot to the Pirates franchise. So most of us read that as Johnny Depp is not interested in playing Jack Sparrow. There's also been some recent sightings of Johnny Depp where he's lost a bunch of the weight that he I like Johnny, so I don't want to talk about somebody's personal weight.
Stress will cause you to gain weight, so understand on that.
So he's a lot slimmer and trimmer than he has been say around the Amber Heard trial here, and this is fighting weight. Go ahead, Luke.
I was going to say, as I recall, and I haven't looked at it lately, that stuff from Bruckheimer about waiting for certain actors was in response to the discussion of possibly Margot Robbie being the new main character, and that she was booked up for the next 2 or 3 years or something like that.
It could have been. Also,
there was that side to it.
I'll add to that as well. Nicolas Cage had made some comments about how if there's National Treasure, if there's a National Treasure sequel, that the magic is not at Disney or something to that effect. So you have these these franchises that Bruckheimer did a fantastic job at Disney. So I think it's a good thing that they're trying to work with him here. Young Woman in the Sea is going into theaters. That was originally going to be a Disney Plus release, and now that's going to be in theaters because they're trying to fill in all these gaps in their quote unquote robust year that Bob Iger just talked about on their earnings call. If Johnny Depp is appearing in the parks as Jack Sparrow, that might indicate that some of the statements that he's made about Disney and the joke he made about how they could offer him 1 million alpacas and he wouldn't take on the role of Jack Sparrow for them in an official capacity. If he is appearing on property as Jack Sparrow, does this indicate that they have a contract signed? Does this indicate that they're trying to negotiate here? Because I think Johnny Depp wants to play Jack Sparrow. I don't think he wants to do it for Disney in a movie without getting a huge payday to make them pay for what they did.
So let me walk through, and then I want to go to Carrie, because this is a major culture war issue that we need to crystallize, I think, in this moment. Jonas, I'm going to go through a couple of rapid fire questions with you, okay? Would higher ups in Disney, way up there, have to approve something like this?
Yes, for an A-list celebrity on Johnny Depp's level, being in the park at all, they would want to know about that. Bob Iger knows where Taylor Swift is all the time. Of course, he knows where Johnny Depp is. For them to appear in character as a person that can reflect on the Walt Disney Company, yes, absolutely. The higher ups would have to know about it and probably have to approve it.
With Star Wars, go ahead.
This isn't like he dressed up and walked in the front gate with a ticket. It's got to be, absolutely. And let's not forget that he's done this in the past, and he did a thing in the past as the Mad Hatter, appearing on one of the signboards out front, interacting with people. So, you know.
That's a good point. Jonas, with Marvel and Star Wars at least hobbled, Disney needs Pirates of the Caribbean. Can they do anything with Pirates of the Caribbean actually without Jack Sparrow?
Not unless they just want to set money on fire and theme it to Pirates of the Caribbean.
Is Johnny Depp as Jack Sparrow a huge part of their Pirates of the Caribbean attraction in both coasts of Disney parks?
It is, and he is literally the only reason that is not just some forgotten movie a la the original or the new Haunted Mansion.
Do you believe that Johnny Depp could call up Disney and say, hey, I'd like to meander around your parks because I just enjoy making children happy dressed as Jack Sparrow, and can you get me a handler to do it with me?
I think he possibly could do that, but the odds of it happening in this capacity at Disneyland are low, because he could do this at a hospital. He could do this anywhere he wants.
Right.
He could go to a pirate festival and just have a little bit of fun. To do it on property, this says to me that, by the way, there's no cameras there. I did look for a camera crew. This is not a bit that they're doing for, does not appear to be a bit that they're doing for some kind of promotion or anything like that, unless it happened elsewhere in the park. So this is not promotion for a specific project, unless they're going to take online footage elsewhere. So I think that this has to be coordinated, and I'm going to speculate here. I think this says that the relationship might have been repaired in some way, or maybe this is a step in that repair. I don't know.
So let me go to Carrie now. Carrie, here's what's interesting to this for me. You know, a lot of people would look at this and they would say, well, this is a no story, right? This is nothing. Mm-hmm. It's a giant nothing burger. It's just Johnny Depp getting to do Jack Sparrow for 5 minutes. Who cares? When I look at this and knowing that this would have to be approved by the higher ups, and based on the still shots that we have that indicate to us that it's actually Johnny Depp, right? Makeup over the particular areas he would need to put makeup over for tattoos and that sort of thing. I look back over what he endured with the Amber Heard situation. I look back over the villainization that he suffered. He was essentially, every force out there tried to cancel him immediately upon just the accusation without actually paying attention to whether or not the claims were legitimate. And it seems now that they were absolute, farces. I think that this has a more broad application or implication, maybe both. I think that Disney, if they have to go back to him now and offer him tens of millions of dollars to play this role again, I think it says something about the culture war more broadly, because it may indicate that a particular era is over of demonizing men without sufficient evidence. What do you make, Carrie, of this? If it turns out to be true, and we wouldn't put it up here unless we really thought we had something on this. What do you think the implications are for the Me Too movement? What do you think it says about where the culture war is going, and perhaps what corporations have to do for audiences?
Oh gosh, I wish that you were right, that it might mean signal an end to accusations without evidence, people believing accusations without evidence, but I don't necessarily think that's going to happen. I think in his case, he had to fight it. He had to spend a lot of money and put himself through what I would assume is excruciating torture, reliving this with the person who has tried to ruin your life, sit in the courtroom with that person, you know, have to have this on his mind for however long. Like, he had to commit to doing all of that to try and get his name cleared. That's the way I view it anyway.
And especially after the London trial ended against him, to come back at it again.
And so I kind of am afraid, I hope that you're right, WDW, but I'm afraid that we're still living in we haven't yet exited these culture wars, and we're still living in a time where someone, but most often a woman, can make an accusation against a guy, and depending on her politics and what tribe she's in, if she's in the woke tribe, then it's automatically believed or parroted by the news and taken as truth. I think we're still in that place, unfortunately.
Well, you know, one of the dangers is, I think, too, not to get into the legal side of this, but, you know, we obviously want everyone to be protected, and we don't advocate for any kind of violence ever, never, ever. But there is the situation, and Andrew of Legal Mindset has talked about this before. If a claim is made against a man in a particular scenario, he's going to be arrested no matter what. There's no way out of it. And then that's, you know, that is the scarlet letter against him. And I think on the grandest scale, that was attempted against Johnny Depp, and he seems to have overcome it. I think audiences love him. By the way, 51% out there think that is Johnny Depp. 31%, I'm sorry, I've got that incorrect. 50% say yes, 31% say unsure, 18% say no. So we haven't fully convinced yet. We're going to have to get some of those
there is a way to solve
direction than what I thought we were moving here.
There is a way to solve this. You have to zoom in and look for the gift that Amber left him permanently, that little scar on his finger. Where, sorry, that's too dark of a joke. He does have a scar on his finger now.
Get the zoomification going.
It's like looking for those old, like, does anyone remember those old YouTube videos, like the really early ones of like trying to find subliminal messaging in Disney movies? It's like that with the cast and characters now. You guys have been studying the cast members how much recently? It's crazy.
Well, okay, let's say that Disney still considered him persona non grata, and he wanders into the park as Johnny as Jack Sparrow. Somebody gets fired for that, if not getting trespassed.
But that's the funniest scenario. If it's really him, and maybe he just bought a ticket in a different disguise and then changed clothes in the bathroom. That's what I really want to have happened.
No.
I could actually see him wandering in doing that, because think about it. Because wouldn't Disney want to, you know, put all over Instagram, or, well, maybe not X because they don't want to be on there, but like when they want to show on like TikTok and everything, that's like, hey, come meet Johnny Depp, he's here today. Like, it'd be kind of random for him to just be there and they don't bring any announcement to it to play devil's advocate.
I don't see him going through security and the guy says, "Excuse me, sir, but you're trying to bring a pirate sword into the park?"
Excuse me, sir, you're Johnny Depp. This is a surprise, because listen,
to be fair,
celebrities go through a special system to go into Disney parks.
Look, first of all, I want to tell you, I respect this man so much for what he's been through and what he's stuck with and what he said and how he stayed true to form, in spite of the fact that he had a very checkered history with drugs and alcohol and crazy ladies. But you know, you grow through those experiences. And sure, your impulse is, I wouldn't go back to those SOBs who betrayed me for a million, trillion, zillion alpacas. But then you grow further and you start to realize, and I'll bet you Bruckheimer personally, because they seem to still have a pretty good relationship, talk to him about this. They weren't saying whether they believed it or not. They were saying there was enough of the fan base that they didn't want to take the risk. And that's a different story. And the time has passed and the man has grown through this experience. And I don't think it's about the money. It's almost about, you know what? What I do is play characters, and I love this character. And I really love being him and being beloved for him. And this going to the park is almost an actor rehearsing. You know, you always hear about when people go on and do a hot 8 minutes on Johnny Carson. They've been trying those jokes out in clubs for the last 6 months to see what really works and how the pacing works. The Marx Brothers famously did all of their routines for the movies in theaters first to work them out. I think this is a guy who says, I haven't played this guy in a long time. Let me go play with him and get back into the groove of it in a way that makes me feel comfortable. And when you say, was this negotiated as part of his appearance? It might have been that, let me try this and see how I feel, and then we can make a deal.
There's also the issue. There's also the FOMO issue. For those who might be, you know, really questioning this, and we don't know, you know, we'll wait and see, but there's no way we can't not bring this to you. But there's the FOMO issue because Johnny Depp is what? He's older than 60 now, right? Is that correct, everybody?
Yeah,
he is good for 60 though.
So Johnny Depp can't play Jack Sparrow forever, at least not in the current incarnation. So that's probably partly what's going on here. And folks, we have come to the end yet again of another video of pure excellence. We hope you have enjoyed. Breaking the news exclusively here, well, not truly, because, well, you saw the video, you saw who did it, and all credit is due. But putting those dots together, folks, that is what we are due to do every time we get the chance here. If you like content like this, consider clicking the like button, share, subscribe, click it, stick it to the algorithms, it's the notification bell, and drop a comment down below. How much money do you think they're paying Johnny? And do you think Johnny should have even returned? More exclusives on the way, folks, as we are in the middle of the Disney World Leak Week, and the Disney stock continues to respond. That's a kind way of putting it. To the earnings report earlier. Folks, all kinds of content on the way. And we always end it this way because it matters wherever you are and whatever you're doing. Keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.